So we have some new Elden Ring DLC information, looking like this inevitable drop is coming soon, especially after we had that minor leak about a February release date for some controller, and alongside it would launch the DLC as well. Of course, we don't know this to be fact just yet, but it's looking super suspicious. And we're also going to be talking about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We got a new trailer today, and we also got some new information coming from a PlayStation Japan blog post that was translated by Gematsu. They took all that information. Just a fantastic job. Sal Romano obviously running this website by himself and doing an amazing job translating all this stuff. So shout out to him, and we're going to be covering all those details there as well. Quickly, before we jump into this, guys, if you could do me a huge favor, please hit that like button. It really goes a long way, helps my channel get viewed by more people so we can keep growing this community. Subscribe if you're new, and share the video to keep the community informed. Now let's talk about the DLC for Elden Ring, as that's going to be a quick part of this video. It looks like Zeostorm over on Twitter said that a new Elden Ring DLC package has just been added to Elden Ring within the files for the first time since launch. They're saying, I'm not saying it's 100% Shadow of the Erdtree, but there's a pretty good chance it is. And I think that they're not wrong. I do think that they're on the money here, especially after we had talked about in a previous video that they were launching a accessory alongside the DLC. At least that was what was leaked by a storefront. So I think that's really still the case, that we're going to see Shadow of the Erdtree in February. I think it's very possible that we do. If we don't, we'll talk about it then. But as it stands right now, I think that it's not an anomaly for all of these things to be connecting in some way. So that's your Elden Ring update. I think that probably is likely the case, but let me know what you guys think about that. Moving on to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Obviously, this is the big part of this video. We're going to talk about what was revealed. At 9 o'clock this morning, we had Final Fantasy VII Rebirth get a blog post on PlayStation Japan's blog post in the trailer that was titled Destined for Rebirth. They also talk about Cait Sith, that's how I'm pronouncing it, Alina, Captain Titov, and Yuffie, talking about their details, how they fight, everything about them, and some information. So we're going to go over that as well as some locations as well. Now, I'm going to have the trailer up for you guys while we talk about this. But jumping into what Sal Romano had to say, Square Enix has released a new trailer for FF7 Rebirth titled Destined for Rebirth, as well as new information and screenshots introducing Cait Sith, Alina, Captain Titov, and Yuffie. They also did show off some really cool key art. If you've played the original, then you're very familiar with these images. One of Yuffie on a mountainside or cliffside, sun setting. Beautiful shot, and it's in the remake look of it, so it's looking fantastic. Then we see Cait Sith at the gold saucer. This very vibrant, colorful image is something I love as well. So these pieces of key art look fantastic, and I'm very happy to see that they decided to remake them like they did with the other pieces of key art. Next, we're talking about the regions of the world, right? They talk about the starboard Junon, and it is described as an urban residential zone within the fortified metropolis overlooking the ocean, in addition to housing for Shinra personnel, high-end boutiques, and restaurant line its streets. Currently, preparations are underway here for Rufus Shinra Presidential Inauguration Parade. Now, this is going to be very familiar for a lot of us who have played the original, but being that there's going to be a lot of new things that they're adding to the remake, and obviously some extra additions just in terms of adding more to the story, since it's going to be open world, I could see them doing a lot more, and it looks like it could be an interesting location for us to explore. They also talk about Shinra 8, which is a cruise ship that ferries travelers between the planet's eastern and western continents. After departing the port of Junon, it heads for the resort town of Costa del Sol. Now, something very important here, they talk about as part of the onboard entertainment, the ship plays host to a Queen's Blood tournament, which is very interesting. And could this take place when we get on this ship and we're making our way to Costa del Sol? And not to make, spoil anything, but obviously we've seen in the trailers that you get dressed up and you do all this stuff and try to infiltrate in a way. But does that happen during this segment? And then on top of that, they've really added this entire tournament that you'll be doing as well for Queen's Blood. I'm intrigued, and I like this idea because obviously, there's a lot more to this game than there was in the original. And whether you like it or not, this is just something cool, to me at least, that they've added. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how they incorporate this. And is it going to be fun? Because that's the most important thing. If we're going to add stuff, it's got to be fun or interesting or something to keep us intrigued. Now, we're going to talk about the new characters, right? New characters in terms of the remake, right? Not so much in terms of new characters, but Cait Sith and Moogle. And this is a character we know a lot about this character. This is not something brand new to us in its entirety, but in terms of the remake, we'll see which direction it goes in. But it's described as a gorgeous cat that fights atop from his sturdy Moogle mount, who provides both mobility and support during battle. When Kate's not duking it out, his Kate Sith and Moogle high-tech helper aids him in hacking computer systems and telling fortunes. And so that's the description for this character, which I'm intrigued by. Obviously, Kate's not really one of my favorite characters in the game, or not an original, but obviously with the way they're doing things in this one, I think it could be a lot more appealing. Alina is also talked about, voiced by Piper Reese in the English version and Megumi Toyoguchi in the Japanese version. It says in quotes, "Feast your eyes on the Turk's latest and greatest Alina, but you three can call me your worst nightmare." And obviously this is in reference to the party. And it says, though she may be a rookie, she is skilled with her fists and a gun as anyone else in the Turks unit of Shinra's General Affairs Division. She and her partner Rude are tasked with pursuing the black-robed figures, which she is more than happy to do if it means being assigned a mission with Song. Now, you know, this is one of those characters that we saw a little bit of in terms of the trailers that have been leading up till now. I think that it's going to be interesting how they portray this character. I mean, she was very strong-headed and strong-willed in the original. I expect that to carry on in this as well. And I'm curious, you know, the battles with her, how will that go? Because I don't think we actually fight her in the original. I don't think we actually come across her and fight her one-on-one in the original. I could be wrong about that, but man, my memory of this game is pretty good. I don't remember ever going toe-to-toe with Alina, but I could be wrong about that. Let me know in the comments if I'm misremembering that. They also introduced Captain Titov, who's voiced by Jonathan Lippo in English and Tsuyoshi Koyama in Japanese. And it's quoted as, "Be sure to mind your P's and Q's, huh? A lot of bigwigs on board." I imagine this is going to be a statement made by him or quote by him, since that's being quoted here. But this is the captain of the Shinra, and they're responsible for overseeing safe passage for all who travel between Junon and Costa del Sol. He's earned a sterling reputation among his crew, thanks to his unerring devotion to his duties. This is most evident during the various festivities held aboard his vessel, which he personally and passionately MCs, which this just pointed out to me that, yeah, this is likely a situation when we are making that first travel to Costa del Sol that is Queen's Blood does take place then. Now we're going to talk about combat with Yuffie. And this is interesting, right? Obviously, we haven't seen enough, at least not in my opinion, about Yuffie's combat. So we're going to be diving into what they've added here, as it seems pretty interesting to me with the new additions that they've added, right? So it says, next up, let's take a look at what some of the new additions to the party can do in battle. And starting with Yuffie, they say her basic attacks quickly strike enemies with a large throwing star. The speed with which she attacks allows you to charge ATB faster than most. So that's a big thing here, that she's going to be charging ATB faster than regular party members. While her throwing star is out, Yuffie can unleash magic-infused ninjutsu to punish foes. So looking like there are going to be special characteristics about Yuffie's gameplay style, which is obvious, right? Like every character has their own strengths and weaknesses, and it looks like Yuffie's will be that agility and being able to do moves and pull off attacks faster in this case. I'm very curious to see what we're going to see with battle guides that we have going on. Shout out to Blitz for doing those battle guides. He definitely covers it pretty well, and I imagine he's going to come up with some pretty creative things. As far as abilities goes, Yuffie excels at chaining her attacks together and switching their elemental affinity. Her doppelganger ability allows her to attack in tandem with her clone, enabling her to exploit enemies' weaknesses even more effectively. So she's going to have a doppelganger. It's going to be very interesting. It's looking like she's going to be very unique in this aspect. I'm guessing that as you level her up as well, we're going to see a lot more happening with this specifically. Now, her unique ability is hurling her throwing star at enemies, allowing her to keep up the pressure from a distance. Think of like Baird. Baird does it as well. While her throwing star is out, she can also pelt her foes with ninjutsu. Whatever element her target's weak against, Yuffie has a ninjutsu spell for it. So that's actually incredible. That's really going to make a massive difference. She's got an attack specifically, or a button specifically for ninjutsu, and it's interesting that it automatically is going to use whatever they're weak against, which is going to make battle with her pretty awesome. I could see her being very powerful and a lot of game-breaking builds with her. I can definitely see that to be the case. Now we're going to talk about Kate Sith. Basic attack says he darts about the battlefield with the agility of an acrobat, or perhaps a cat. assailing enemies from every side. When he wants to switch things up, he brings out his Moogle pal, changing his attack. So it looks like depending on the Moogle or not, the attacks will change, your abilities will change. Under abilities, it says these Cait Sith exclusive moves can hurt enemies or buff allies, but most rely on luck in some way. In quotes, let's ride. However, allows him to hop on his Moogle, enhancing his regular attacks and his unique abilities. For unique abilities, it says while riding his Moogle, Cait Sith can give enemies the boot with drop kick. Once his Moogle's attacks have filled the Moogle meter, he can also buff his companions with abilities like defense. So this is a pretty versatile character. We're thinking like what can attack, can buff your characters, can also defend your characters. This is already way better than the original Cait Sith. Already, this is looking like a more viable option than the original Cait Sith, which I know that there was like game-breaking ways to use Cait Sith in the original, but I mean, overall as a whole, he wasn't very exciting to use. Now, synergy abilities between Cait Sith and Yuffie are very, very interesting, right? We know them to be very powerful attacks that characters can do, and it's going to be unique attacks and all that. We have the Moogle Pinwheel, which is obviously Yuffie and Cait Sith. Yuffie and Cait Sith attack in tandem with a secret ninja technique, and that is going to be their synergy ability. I'll have some screenshots on for all this stuff, obviously, and it's looking really interesting as well. Could be a lot of fun to use both these characters. But that is the entirety of this update. It was a lot to go through, but I didn't want to miss anything. A lot of you guys are very excited for this game. I'm very excited for this game. I got the collectors on order. I can't wait to play this thing. I can't wait to show off the Sephiroth statue that I got coming in. We're definitely going to explore this, and definitely a review coming as well, as this is a really, really big game for me this year, and I know it is for a lot of you as well. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of all this information. What are you looking forward to most? Who's going to be your main party members that you're going to be sticking with for the most part? As always, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. If you did not enjoy the video, hit the dislike button. Subscribe if you're new, and share the video to keep the community informed. I thank you all for watching. Take care.